Start! I had no idea why I had to shout for the match to start, because the pair simply had selected their characters, but one way or another the battle commenced. It's still quiet. I'm just gonna continue playing. Nick and Wally were well matched in the beginning, each taking small hits and attempting combos that the other immediately deflected. It was a tense battle, both hunched frustratingly close to the screens. Correct, that's after this. I almost couldn't make anything out. Tag! Josh! Nick spun with a flourish away from the machine, and Josh leaped in, dealing a several hit combo on Wally, who was unprepared for the lower targeted hits Josh was throwing. After getting half of Wally's after getting half of Wally's health was out, Jimmy raised his fist. Tag! I'm going in! He pulled Wally out by the shoulder, who seemed to have forgotten that other people were even waiting to play. Jimmy and Josh went back and forth against each other, each managing to land a combo at some point, but it was slow going. Josh was clearly trying to go for the environmental kills, and Jimmy stayed well away from those locations, making the match somewhat a stalemate. Josh's health lowered and lowered until it finally it seemed just one hit would do him in. Then Jimmy lunged. Tag, Paul! Josh spun away from the machine in a graceful pirouette, but Paul wasn't paying attention. Paul! He jumped and sped to the machine, but it was too late. The character had been defenseless for seconds, and Jimmy easily finished him off. Paul stared at the screen, his mouth slowly dropping open. It was the most anticlimactic loss I had ever seen.
Aww.
I didn't even get to play. I winced and went to Paul's side. Hey, you're fine. It wasn't that bad. Paul put his head in his hands. It was that bad. It was definitely that bad. With the match called, the MC thanked the crowd and ushered everybody away from the machines. The day was free play for the tournament players, but not for anybody else. And he seemed keen to get the arcade their money's worth. Well, how about we go have a nap? That sounds good. Paul shook his head slowly, but allowed me to lead him out of the mall and toward a nice patch of grass. There he fell asleep, no doubt for the first time in days. By the time Paul and I came back inside, the MC was taking the stage, a list of numbers in his hand. When he was sure that he had everybody's attention, he smiled charmingly. Ladies and gentlemen, the winner of this year's tournament is, surprisingly, the Normal Boots Club! Yay! Yes! I screamed and clapped and we swarmed on stage. The poor MC didn't know what hit him. And a wasp flying against my window again. Not knowing how to get in. As we celebrated, Paul grabbed the microphone. Please, everyone. I am proud to announce the newest addition to the Normal Boots Club, our lovely campaign manager and most tolerant angel on the face of this woeful earth, Hana Mizuno. The boys cheered as Josh pulled me to the front of the stage. Nick said something around my shoulders, and I looked down to find a brand new Normal Boots jacket over my standard uniform. I beamed at Paul, and he gave me a thumbs up and a wink. Well then, we'll see you all again next year. Paul handed the microphone to the MC, then pulled me, Nick, and Josh in next to him. It's great that we won, really it is, but our weekend isn't over yet. No, it wasn't. Tomorrow was the day of the actual voting. The election results would be decided. Suddenly sobered, we decided to head back to campus for a day of tense attempts at relaxation, one word throbbing through each of our minds. Tomorrow. Considering Asagao was such a rich school, I expected the voting process to be a little bit more technological. Instead, students lined up to grab paper ballots and turn them in. Ballots that were then tallied and handed to the teachers manning the voting booth. I also expected a sizable turnout, but apparently I thought wrong. The votes were tallied up in almost no time, despite Mishizuka and Mr. Saitsumo chortling at each other like childhood friends. When the ballot was finally done, the result was placed in a sealed envelope and given to the standing president to read before the auditorium and the voters who stayed for the results. The standing president, meaning Paul. Oh, the standing president, meaning Paul. With a grim set to his jaw, he carefully peeled the envelope open. Your new acting president for this year is... He lifted the card to his face, squinting at what it said. Jeff. Jeff is the new student council president. Paul set his hands down, defeated in almost every sense of the word. A beaming Jeff bounded on stage and took the podium, glancing over his new populace. Everyone! Thank you so much for taking this leap of faith and trusting me! Really, thank you so much! Paul stumbled off stage. Nick, Josh, and I followed him. He slumped against the wall, knees pulled to his chest. Hey, Paul. He looked at us with a sad smile. I guess I can kiss that dream goodbye. There's always next year. I realized the folly as soon as I said it. Paul was graduating. So were Nick and Josh. There was no next year for them. Nick, Josh, and I knew there was nothing we could say. Instead, we lined up next to Paul, pulling our knees into our chests as well. Look at us, the failed campaigners. They could take a picture of us and use it as a movie poster. Paul chuckled. The story of 4 abject failures and their attempts to defy fate. Hey, I would watch it, even if the ending was a bit depressing. All 4 of us laughed, only the slightest bitterness audible.
Paul.
So, Paul, what are you going to do with all your extra free time? I think I'm going to... He leaned his head against the wall. Paul? He's asleep. Again? As we stood guard over the president of our hearts, Nick and Josh discussed various ways of getting enough funding to make a film. Just because Asagao was going to help them get the equipment didn't mean it was impossible, especially now that they had more time than ever. I smiled. Somehow, people always found their way through. I closed my eyes too and heard Paul mumble something next to me. Thanks for being my campaign manager, Hannah. Really and truly, thank you. Bad end. That's too bad. I don't want those happy credits. Nope. 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 Low data. Okay. This is the first choice. Okay. And I'll take a break now. See you in a bit. And we're gonna get the best end. And we're back. I fucked that up, so I'm I'm gonna try that again.